after you take a moment to just notice what you're experiencing in your felt sense in your body, you can also take a moment to look around and tune in with your environment and let your body really orient to where you are. And tune in with any prayers that you have that are outside of you, prayers for others, prayers for someone else. We're really tuning in with the dead and the dying and what that means to each of us, what loss looks like and feels like, as well as coming into this celebration of the light and this celebration that is called Diwali, which Harshada will share more about. And the presence of the field of consciousness, as Sally Kempton used to call the goddesses, Lakshmi. So much of my direct experience, but also working with Lakshmi, with many, many women specifically, and folks with vulvas over the years, doing worship with her, doing earth-based rituals, doing mantra practice, like really going deep. Some of you have, right? So if you would like to share what your experience with Lakshmi has been, I know a lot of you in this space have done that sadhana with me more than once even, right? So what is your direct experience of Lakshmi? She is the sustaining force of the universe, of all existence. So that which sustains. And I've really found over the years of working with her that deeper layers of grief at times and unworthiness, what is the opposite of Lakshmi, will arise in this process of embodying love, of embodying deeper truth that's actually rooted in what is for the good of all beings, what is for the good of the collective, what is for the good of the earth. There's this kind of what is sustaining us, and how we have conditioning, we have perceptions that we've inherited, that we adopt based on how the world actually reflects back to us, that are continually dying in this process of embodiment, which I think is why we come together, so we can hear one another's experience, so we can receive the medicine of these traditions and ancient practices with so much reverence and so much appreciation and love, even amidst the more challenging moments, right, of our life, of the collective, which is just this continual challenge, and has been for a pretty long time. Yeah, so I'll just pause and give everybody a moment to tune into all of that and see what comes up in your intuition. Okay. Yeah. Amazing setup. Oh, our amazing setup here for our fire today. Just gonna show you. Harshada was working on all morning. So really calling in protection, calling in the wisdom, the strength, the courage, the transformational love of our well ancestors, blood and spiritual. And we'll be working with a mantra when we do the ceremony part. But this whole thing you could, receive as a ritual. The ways we relate, the ways we communicate, these don't have to be separate, than how we experience God within, right? Oftentimes they are, because it's such a deeply personal and private and wordless and indescribable experience, right? But at the same time, we're here to relate. This is the path of relationality over domination, and over systems that create separation between us and our relatives, which really consist of everyone and everything in existence. And to me, that's so much of what Lakshmi's abundance and worth and wealth within really is, and really carries the medicine that she really carries for us. What are you looking for?
I'm not in my glasses. I'm not going to be able to read it.
Look in that.
No.
And this is a space to grieve. This is a space to like process your rage. This is a space to admit how free you actually are, or how privileged you actually are at the same time that you feel the heartbreak, that is a result of these systems of domination and of these systems that place power over as opposed to ignite power within. This is something that we're all dealing with, something that we're all dismantling in different ways, depending on who we are and what our backgrounds are. And that's a really important piece to let yourself come into this space with an acknowledgement of. You found them? Okay. So we were going to start with some chanting today. I think I figured out how to make it so it doesn't cut out, but if I didn't, you're going to be chanting in your own space. So if it cuts out, once you learn the mantra, it'll be okay. I'm always on a search of figuring that out. And yeah, should we do it?
Yeah, hi everyone. It'd be nice for me to
You're
say
just
hi to
getting here.
everyone.
Sorry. I've been sitting here reading and talking.
So have you read any of the things people are putting in there?
Not out loud. Do you want to?
Hi, Jackie. No, we can get into the chant. Happy Diwali, everyone. Happy Halloween. And Diwali, we'll talk more about it after the chant, but it's this festival of light, it's oftentimes called. It's actually called Deepawali. So a Deepa is this is like a Western Deepa. It's like a little lamp. And so on Deepawali, people fill their homes with lamps and light, and burn bonfires also in villages to bring light and welcome the goddess Lakshmi into their life for the next year. So we'll be talking about Lakshmi. And we have a special Lakshmi altar over here with these golden paduka sandals.
You just painted those.
Yeah, we just put gold leaf on.
Wow.
Those were the ones that we got in India, remember?
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
We'll start off with just some informal chanting. And what is the mantra that we're doing?
We'll do an invocation of Lakshmi that you can just receive. We'll do a few rounds of the Triambakam mantra, just to just as an invocation. But I feel like maybe, can you just tell everyone about that mantra, just because it's also so connected to where we go in India, and I feel like it's really connected to this particular ritual, even though that's not what we're focusing on.
Yeah, so the mantra it's a mantra to Lord Shiva, Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamivam bandhanat mrityurmukshiyamamritat, which essentially it's a prayer about liberation and freedom, and it's inviting the fragrant Lord Shiva to come and free us the way that a gourd falls off of its vine. Is actually what it means literally. And the idea with that is that image is given because once a fruit separates from a tree, you can't reconnect it again. Once the gourd separates from the vine, it's disconnected once and for all. So it's a prayer about liberation, and it's also associated sometimes with the dead.
Yeah.
So this is the prayer that we did over Adriana's grandfather's casket as like a final prayer for him.
And then the one that we'll do, that we can do kind of in a call and response, although the response won't be happening. Maybe at the end we'll all unmute and do Om, just so there's a little bit of chaos in there, which I always like. But we'll have everyone off mute, so you'll just be doing the response on your own, just taking big breaths, and letting your breath come in really deep. And then the mantra we're going to do is very simple. It's a goddess chant, and it's Amba, Amba Bhavani. Amba Bhavani. So you could try saying that out loud. And you want to say what it
Amba, Bhavani. They're just, these are all, Amba means mother. Bhavani is one of the names of the goddess.
Amba Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe.
Jagadambe is another name, which just means the Ambe, the mother of the whole universe.
Yeah. And we'll say Jaya or Jaya, which is like
It's like victory.
victory
like,
to the mother of the universes.
yeah.
Universes.
It's a term of praise.
Okay.
We have the sound setting on?
I think so. Ali told me if I do it on low, it won't cut out as much. So I'm just gonna see what happens. And if it cuts out, it's okay. We're gonna just do it for a few minutes. We can start by chanting Om all together. So maybe let your body move a little bit, move around down into your hips.
Are we recording this or not?
Yeah. Just take a nice deep breath with your eyes maybe open at first, unless you just feel like you want to close them. And just feel free to kind of move in your body as we do this chant and follow the impulse to move if it's there, or the impulse to get still. And you can also have your eyes open and resting on something beautiful or pleasant, on your altar, on a flame. So you're in relationship. No matter what, even when we close our eyes, we're going deeper into relationship, at least in this work. But you can feel free to move as your body chooses. And just clear your throat out loud. So feel the vibration. Take a breath in and we'll chant Om. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe, Vishnu Patni cha dhimahi, Tano Lakshmi prachodayata. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam, Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityor mukshiyamamritat. So I'll do the call, you do the response. Okay, I'll do the call and the response. Amba Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe. Amba Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe. Amba Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe. Amba Bhavani Jagadambe
Bhavani
Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe. So let's have everyone take a moment to just take a breath. Just call in all of your supportive and well spirit guides and ancestors, ascended masters, angels. Take a breath into your belly. Just let your belly soften. Just 3% feeling your sit bones on the earth. Letting your body connect to the earth. And let's just have everyone come off mute for a moment, and we're just going to chant Om all together. So it's going to be wild, chaotic. So everyone take a nice deep breath in for Om. So take a moment to just see what you notice. What did you notice? Just doing a little bit of that practice, the devotional practice of, it's called Nama Sankirtana, means to sing the names. In this case, we're singing the name of the mother of the universes and evoking or invoking her presence, her fierce compassion, her passion, her healing, her transformation,
or chaos.
her guidance, her nurturance. And just see what you notice and share in the chat or write in your journal. We're going to take a few minutes to do some writing, but I'll give you a moment. We'll give you a moment to just tune in with that. Tune in with anything you're noticing in your body. This Lakshmi puja you made is really magnificent. I wish it could be like in the front. Thank you so much for sharing your emotion in this space. It's really welcomed. And the prompt that we want to do is really to any specific loss that you're encountering, that you've encountered. Just like boundaries are love, to me, loss is also love. To me, loss carries me into a greater sense of embodied love. So it's not something that actually pulls me away from the divine, but it actually puts me in direct contact with her. And, you know, that hasn't just, I wasn't born, well, maybe I was born that way because I think I was probably born with this path. But this path, this tantric path, this path of devotion is what has enabled me and continues to enable me to experience that. It's not just something that, you know, has happened, but something that, you know, through these practices has really opened up those doors for loss to be something that actually puts me in contact with my passion, with the part of me that, you know, knows that I can keep showing up and being of service, and that those things don't have to be all separate. So this is really like a bringing together. And so we wanted to just hold a little bit of space here for you to do some writing. If you want a prompt, like you just want to flow with a prompt, you can use the prompt, a letter to loss, as love. You can also write a letter to someone who has died, that you know, or just to a relationship that has died, or to some agreement, that you've made either consciously or unconsciously, that is dying right now, these patterns, right? We're putting an end to. So I'm kind of giving a lot of different ideas, but just trust whatever wants to flow out of you without thinking or editing. Just take a breath, keep, breathing into your chest, breathing into your throat, breathing into your belly, breathing into your pelvis, and just take, we'll take 4 minutes to just like drop in and let some writing flow through.
Can I kick it off with a poem?
Yeah, I love that. That's always the way.
So this is a poem by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay.
Thank you. So just take a few minutes. We'll let you know when you have about 30 seconds left, but just let it come through, let it pour through. Let spirit, let your well ancestors, your spirit guides, the ascended masters that you're connected to really guide your words through your heart. It could be a poem. You could, if you are writing a letter to someone that you've lost, or to something that you've lost, or something that you're currently grieving, you could just write it down, name it, write the names, write what it is. And we'll let you know when you have about 30 seconds left.
Adriana, you're muted. I don't know if you mean to be,
But now I'm coming off. But thank you.
but the sound's not very good. It's like really crackly.
I'm just turning the music down.
But you also turned it down, remember?
Is it better now? Yeah, it should. Or no?
Yeah, that's good.
No, it's just because I had the music on and had my headphones on. Okay. We were talking to each other when it was muted. So that's why.
Oh, so they didn't understand that last prompt that you gave, like right before you took them out.
Oh.
They're saying.
Oh yeah, it's okay. So just finish up whatever it is you're writing.
I'm gonna
come on back into the group.
I'm gonna read this poem again, and then I'll talk about where it came from for me. It's Robert Frost. He said, "Nature's first green is gold." The title of it is "Nothing Gold Can Stay." Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf. So Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. It sounds like it's still muffled. Sherry is saying it's still muffled. Didn't you turn down the volume when we did the chanting? You did something to the volume,
No.
Remember?
I don't know.
You did something to the volume.
I think it's okay now that you've turned the vote. I heard that pretty well.
I know it's okay.
Okay.
I just really
somebody just
no. I know, but
in there, so
I know, but yes, I totally. No, I know.
So yeah, this poem by Robert Frost, I actually heard it kind of for the first time last night, and I heard it in all places. If anybody can guess this before it comes out, I'll give you 50 points. But I heard it in the movie The Outsiders. And I had this beautiful thing where my son, who's 12 now, who is a very avid reader, it turns out that he loves this book, The Outsiders. I didn't give it to him. It wasn't assigned to him in school. I don't know how he came about it, but he read it and he loved it. And it was like the first book probably that I ever read when I was a kid, and have always loved it too. And so I shared the movie with him by, Coppola. Such a great movie. And there's this scene where Ponyboy and Johnny they're in hiding and they're watching the sunrise, and Ponyboy recites this poem from memory. And it's just such a beautiful poem, but it's like, also it's so poignant for me because this is me with my 12-year-old in this beautiful moment of just total impermanence. And just a second ago, I was reading The Outsiders. And now here I am, and I'm a dad, and now my son has read The Outsiders. And this moment is so fleeting, and how thinking about Lakshmi and thinking about, gold is really the representation of Lakshmi. We have this beautiful golden altar over here It's really hard to see, but
I know.
we have these paduka, these sacred sandals that I actually covered in real gold on the altar. But it's like, in what came up in my writing, and interesting, I'd be interested to hear what came up in yours, was how what the wealth, what the abundance of Lakshmi is. She's sustenance. She's not permanence.
Mm.
She's sustenance. It's like that the flow keeps coming.
Mm.
It's not like dunk and here's this thing that never goes away. Nothing gold can stay.
Mm.
Whether it's the gold of the sunrise or the different images that Robert Frost uses of the bud, and that's really what it is so much, is it's like this vision of abundance that just keeps flowing, and may it keep flowing, and may we honor it and respect it and open ourselves up to it to keep flowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, I also hear in that just the way that grief, right? When you think about the moment's grief as a landscape, not just as an emotion, but as something where we experience lots of different emotions. It's like in grief, when we are experiencing something like sadness, which is actually, I think, such a more liberated state or, liberated experience than like shame, let's say, right? It's like oftentimes shame keeps us from feeling sadness. And the grief, the way that clears us out or continues to allow us to keep entering that stream of love and aliveness that does transform us, that does move us, that does terrify us, because it means that we have to be in this continual relationship to impermanence, right? And for me, any of this is so much easier said than felt, and also so important to name it and to be in it together, is really important to me. So I'm so grateful that you're all here and that we get to do this ritual and be with the fire and be in the sacred relationship to fire, which is one of the things that, when I'm like, stuffed up with all the things that I'm afraid to feel, it's like fire is the answer for me, to really, to soften those edges so the waters can flow.
Each of the elements in the Vedic system are, seen as incredibly valuable and used in worship in different ways. And, like air obviously is the most valuable, but it's very hard to contain and work with. So it's worked with that's why we burn agarbatti or incense, because it's like we're honoring space and air by filling it with scent. Water is obviously used a lot, maybe not obvious to you, but in the Vedic system, they use a lot of water, ritual baths and water for all kinds of things, because it's also incredibly valuable. Fire as an element is used and worshipped because it also is like, it's one of the most valuable things that there is, but it's so hard to contain, and it has to be contained in such a way or else it could cause tremendous harm. But like Adriana is saying, it's like there's something about its ability to like clear away and like open up stagnation and for flow, and that's really what the Lakshmi puja is about. And us connecting it to grief is like seeing those heavy grief things that if we don't allow them to be sadness, if we don't allow them to be like kinetic grief, instead of just like that old unconscious grief, they just end up being like boulders in our system, in our lives. And so this is a way of like allowing all of that to become kinetic and invite that golden flow to come through.
Yeah. So I have one short poem that feels like it's so in flow right now. And to me and to us both, we obviously love poetry, and it's one of the things that like, I think really always pulls me into the flow. And then we'll do our mantra practice together. So yeah, really grateful. So this poem is called Annunciation by Marie Howe. Even if I don't see it again, nor ever feel it, I know it is. And that if once it hailed me, it ever does. And so it is myself I want to turn in that direction, not as toward a place, but it was a tilting within myself as one turns a mirror to flash the light where it isn't. I was blinded like that and swam in what shone at me, only able to endure it by being no one, and so specifically myself, I thought I'd die from being loved like that. Only able to endure it by being no one, and so specifically myself, I thought I'd die from being loved like that. It's like the most Scorpio poem ever. Because even like swimming, right? It's like I swam in what was shown at me. It's like such a beautiful, to me, I don't know where Marie Howe is coming from, but I really feel my relationship to the goddess in that, you know, it's like this is this constant mirroring of, you know, reflection and reflection for the divinity and the grace and the love and the passion and the fierceness and the tenderness, and a reflection of
What's the
everything
name of
else
that one again?
that's in between, you know, that's getting in the way of that reflection.
Somebody's asking for the name of
It's
that.
called Annunciation by Marie Howe. All right, should we do the fire? I'm like feeling edgy. She's edgy.
Yeah, we should do the fire. And, you know, like this is a time when you can really think about what you are inviting to be let go of for the sake of that flow. It's like what you are, you know, in Diwali. So we didn't talk about Diwali. So Diwali, one of the things is that it's a time when businesses will close their books in India and then open up. It's like the beginning of their fiscal year. So this is all very mystical, but it actually is. And when we think about it, that it's like allowing ourselves in this process of grief to really like close the books on things that are, it's time for to close the books on in order to open up for the new things. There's something about clearing away the old and the dead in order for the new life to come through, whether you're doing a garden or whether you're doing, you know, hair even. And it's like, so that's the invitation, is to really think about what we're saying goodbye to, what we're grieving, you know, in this like righteous way. And, you know, what we're desiring in a righteous way, what we're calling in a righteous way. And, you know, it's like Lakshmi isn't just about money. You know, wealth isn't just about the money that we have or that we don't have. It's like wealth is love, wealth is good company, wealth is health, wealth is wisdom, wealth is flow instead of fixity.
And wisdom. I think like there's something about that wisdom piece that you're saying that's so like is birthed from, you know, these practices, and that gives us that inner refuge that we also get to bring out, you know.
And at this time, we'll talk more about it after this. I tell you about this course that is coming up, but it's like defiant joy and resistant wisdom. Because it's like the forces that we're working against right now, it's not just neutral. You know, we have to like the joy that we cultivate, it's like in defiance of the energies that are around us. The wisdom that we cultivate is in resistance to the ignorance and the hatred and the unconsciousness that is so big right now. So it's like we're calling in all of that and really like lighting this fire in like rebellion against whatever we need to like be rebelling against within ourselves and within the world outside too.
I love that. Yeah, Maria is saying yes to rewriting the narrative of wealth, and just talking about closing the books on an old business, you know, to how we're relating, right, even to our work in the world. And you know, in our Dark Goddess Doula like business training, that's like so much of what we offer that's like so hard to describe, because it's like people are so used to relating to money and work from this place of capitalism, and to like really see outside of that and see through that while still, you know, being stuck in these systems that we're stuck in so many ways, is it's so potent, and it's so important. And, you know, part of why we do that program every year, because it really allows us to like offer what our work, our service. And for some of us, that means that's the business, that's the money that we're also working with. You know, how do we do this with integrity? How do we, you know, keep opening up to these true and authentic ways, whether we're in relationship to another person or we're in relationship to our business, you know, and offering it to the goddess over and over and over again, is so profound for unraveling those systems, and seeing what's there and even bringing it to her, you know. So I just feel very passionate about that, because that's so much of what holds us back from, you know, continually creating this new world that many of us are really holding space for at this time, you know, that isn't being reflected back.
And you're going to tell them about the training.
Yeah, later,
Yeah.
after that. Let's do the ceremony.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my charger for my computer, and you can start the fire.
Yes.
Okay. And if you have a candle, or a flame,
I can do that part
of some sort. Okay, I just want to bring it a little closer so you'll just be with the fire. These beautiful offerings. Oh my gosh.
So this is rice and black sesame seed and traditional herbs and cow dung and all this traditional stuff, rose petals. And then this is clarified butter or ghee. It's solidified again. So so you can focus on the fire that we're going to kindle here on the screen. Or like she said, if you want to light a candle and have a living flame where you are. We're moving into ritual space. So it's like the thing about a ritual versus just a mere ceremony is that there's an actual energetic transformation that's going to happen. And that's really up to you and the space that you hold within your own being. It's like if we just light the birthday candles and sing happy birthday, it's one thing. If we like make an intention for this year and light the candles and really like, we don't just make a silly wish, but we really make that like deep, we tune into what our deep heart wants, and then we take a breath in and blow out the candles, then it becomes a ritual. You understand? So it's like the gross body of it is this, or it's just even like a digital thing on your screen maybe. That's the gross body of it. But the subtle body, the spirit of it, is what you bring. So the mantra that we're going to do is we're going to do 108 repetitions of Om Shrim Mahalakshmi Namaha. That's that, right? Mm-hmm. Om Shrim Mahalakshmi Namaha.
Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha.
So thank you. Om Shrim Mahalakshmiye Namaha. You want to just write it in there for them so they can just see it written once?
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to just sing some mantras to Ganesha as I light the fire. And then we'll begin.
Thank you, Vanessa. Om Shrim. It's Shrim now. It's S-H-R-E-E-M or S-H-R-I-M. Lakshmi.
Sadanam. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Nityanandaya. And I always like to say this is a very informal fire ceremony compared to the formal fire ceremonies that are done in the Hindu tradition. This is very informal, what we're doing here today.
I think that's right, but I don't know. Somebody can double check. Okay. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. 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 Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha.
Pause just for a second. So take a second and reconnect to your intention. We're going to reconnect to our intention.
Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. 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 Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha.
Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevava Shishate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we'll take a moment to be in silence with the fire, offering prayers of protection to all those that have died or all those that are in between worlds or coming into this world, offering prayers of protection to the earth, our mother, and asking and calling upon our well ancestors, our spiritual guides and teachers in the other realms for protection, healing, and wisdom for our hearts and for humanity. And ask for any support or wisdom or to receive message from the fire and see what comes through your intuition. Thank you, Mother, for your wisdom, for the ways that you help us wake up to our inherent worth, to our passion to be of service, to being nurtured in the ways that we weren't, and just asking for your prayers for all those that need your grace at this time, to be wrapped in the blanket of your love, in your liberation. Thank you. If you would like to share anything in the chat that came through or that's coming through for you, it's one of the ways we like to, start to wind down our time and really to just, have a space where we can practice getting out of the way. There's so much of this work, especially for us as space holders, to just be getting out of the way. And this is really such a potent time for us to practice doing that together. And what does that look like when we do that together? And to really honor the power in our sensitivity and vulnerability and willingness, right? To be in relationship to the great mystery, to not knowing, and to offer our gratitude as a way of bringing forth protection and blessings so we can keep doing the work that we're here to do. So please share any wisdom that came through, or just any, it doesn't have to be wisdom, anything that came through when you were doing the practice, doing the mantra, after, when relating to the fire, and any questions, if anybody wants to unmute and share in a distinct way, anything that you noticed doing that. Or succinct way. And yeah, anything else that you might want to share, or any questions that you have, or any emotion that wants to just be held in the wider web of this community. Thank you all for being here and for doing this work with us. We really don't take it for granted at all. What a privilege it is to be able to do this work, and so yeah, we're very grateful for you. And you can unmute or just raise your hand if you want to share into the space. And especially if you're someone who hasn't shared before, or is newer, in this community, or you're always welcome to share.
I've got something to share.
Yeah.
Progress. I think, just remembering that Lakshmi is always there, or has always been there through my process. And even just I noticed this was going on and I was a bit late, and I just like felt called to jump in and just like, again, Lakshmi just holding me, and just feeling deeply supported by her throughout the last 3 years.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Maria. I was happy to see your name. I was like, yes, of course.
I'm really happy to be here and like feeling it all again. It's like, oh, it's good.
Yeah, so warm. And thank you for doing the work that you're doing out in the world. And you know what you're creating is, I know, because I know you. So just so grateful to hold space for the nurturing and the protection of the good work that you're doing. So.
Yeah. And you are a huge part of that work too. So thank you.
Lots of love.
I have a share.
Yes. Yeah. Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and you look beautiful also. So good to see.
I just want to just express gratitude for how informal these um, gatherings are, and how they allow for an authentic connection to the practice and what's happening. I took a walk during the mantra from my house to this stream close to my home, because I'm closing out my Durga Sadhana from our body temple facilitator training. And on my way, I passed through this group of men. It's interesting how this feeling of unworthiness came up for me, and having to anchor into the mantra. And I usually run away from Lakshmi because I have a very deep fear also of reclaiming the power of worthiness and what that power does. And so anchoring into the mantra for the first time was very grounding for me. And I passed by these like bushes because I was foraging flowers for closing out my sadhana, and had to ask my womb and like connect through the mantra into my womb for guidance on which ones to choose. And it was interesting how I had this very strong remembrance of there is no worth for me as a woman without connection to my womb. And feeling how Lakshmi really just guided me back into that space where this is like your power. If you're disconnected from here, then you're not in your power and you cannot know your worth. And I was just filled with so much emotion, and wow, how I have strayed from, and feared this. And so grateful to the goddess and to you guys for hosting these fire ceremonies so often. They are so life-changing. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel very moved by your share, and
thank you for bringing that energy of your land into the ceremony too.
Yeah, and just your wisdom, and to see your face and to hear you and to like feel you being reflected by her in that way, and like letting her hold you, and even in the fear and in all of it, but also that guidance to the womb. I mean, I've experienced that with so many people over these years of sharing this mantra after, it was shared with me by Sally Kempton, and it's just, yeah, there's something there for us for sure, obviously. And I feel also just very moved by that wisdom that you shared. So thank you so much. Yeah. And everyone, always please share and give love to each person that, shares in this space, because it's very vulnerable to just like, come into that seat, no matter how comfortable we are or how much acting background we have. That's really what it comes down to, whether people feel like comfortable coming into that or not. So make sure you always, throw up reactions and put generous reflections in the chat. But we have a couple, maybe 5 more minutes. So anyone else want to share?
We should talk about the course and the training too.
Yeah, let's hear from one more person, just hear from your voice.
Did I share?
Yes. Hello, yeah.
I I came in late, but I think I was feeling you all in when I wasn't here, so I thought it would work out just to drop in. Um, I really love that you're calling in Lakshmi in this moment because, you know, I have Irish Celtic ancestry. Um, I always feel the Kaliach call really strong. So that's like our Kali in a way, but it's the crone. And so there's like a mixed bag there, right? Because the crone has so much wisdom, but might not have health, might not have like all her loved ones might have died, you know, might have a diminished flow of hormones, all the things. So there's feeling all the wisdom that comes with the crone and then feeling like all the grief and all the loss and just lack. Like I feel like I really macerate in lack at this time of year, and then I like work that edge to be like, what is the gift in here? Like what happens when I try not to resist this and I try to let it move through and be in it. And so just to call in Lakshmi, like that is my experience of mantras, is like that they can be like prescriptions in a way. That's like, okay, but like it's always spring somewhere on the planet. So like just because it's fall here doesn't mean the goddess went away. She just like went to the other side of this planet that we're all still on. So being like, let me call up Lakshmi right now and just like get a little reminder that like spring will come again and like all of these resources, they're here. They just need to move around as part of that sharing. So like for me, I also have a resistance to Lakshmi just because everyone's like full breasts and worship her when you want to get rich and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't have those. I'm like, I don't know about like getting rich. It's a mixed bag also. So thank you. I think that this was just like a needed kind of check-in with the essence of Lakshmi, which for me, like whenever I just try to put the resistance to the side and do the sadhana, what comes through is this idea of like, what's mine is yours. Like that's always what I hear from her, and like sharing, sharing, sharing. So that includes like me having some lack right now so that the other side of the world can have spring, so it's, oh, we're sharing her. Okay, I can get down with that.
And that generosity, like when you were just saying like sharing, it's like, and just even you in this moment sharing with all of us, there's just like that is her, right? That flow of generosity. And I love what you also shared about like the alchemy of this work. You know what I mean? Because it's like when we're in lack, it's oftentimes like that, right? Like we're like, just like be in the dark, like everything, make it darker. And like, of course, like there's that, but then the alchemy of like leaning into something that is like what is necessary. I love that what you just said about like somewhere in the world it is spring, like, and that perception and that ability to widen, that takes us into, yeah, a greater web.
I had the same kind of thing with Lakshmi, where I related more to the kind of like terrible goddesses and the sort of like the yoga, the yogic kind of austerity energies. And, in my guru's ashram, it was a very abundant ashram, and people were really into Lakshmi. We would sing this Lakshmi stotram, and I was never into it. I was always just like, come on, please. But what I find is that as I have perhaps matured into those other goddess energies of Durga and Kali and these like yogic kind of things, that Lakshmi is just there. It's like, and it's in the form of energies like joy and freedom and like the opposite of stagnation and how important it is. But I've had to do a lot of translation.
Yeah.
The full breasts and the let's get rich and all of that kind of thing, for sure.
Yes. Thank you, Yaya, and I'm so glad you came. I accidentally sent you this link, so I feel like she was really like, "Come on in." I texted Yaya when I meant to text a different person, and then I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, great! Here you are. Here we
I
are."
thought it was perfect. So I took it as accidentally on purpose.
Yes, of course, of course. Why not? So
The
thank you
other,
for being here.
the other thing that really helps me with it, yeah, and for everyone else too, and Adriana's just reminding me of it, is that, traditionally there's so much earth worship in Lakshmi. So she's oftentimes worshipped with grains,
Hmm.
and in like we to prepare the fire garba, the fire womb today. I took actual cow dung that's from India and like reconstituted it with water and made like a plaster of cow dung in there. And so it's like it's associated with the cow and cow dung and earth.
Mm.
And oftentimes when I meditate on Lakshmi, I meditate on the element of mud, of like water mixed with earth, and just like fertility, like fertile earth kind of energy, as opposed to gaudy, golden red saris and all of that kind of
Excuse me.
iconography. No offense.
Excuse me, I'm into the gold. But yes, I love it. And yeah, that earth worship is really, I feel like, yeah, even so much of our like worship that we do here with the land where we live, yeah, there's such like it's like one of the things that sustains us is doing these rituals that, here we're doing with fire, but we do it with the earth, on the stone where we live down by the river. And I really feel that. I feel her in that for sure, just that primalness. So thank you. Yeah, thank you. We're going to share a little bit about, Harsha, do you want to share about? Because I already talked about my
Yeah,
thing,
before everybody bails out, I put a link in the chat. It's a little bit back now, but I am doing a really accessible course this fall. It starts on 11/11, called Fire in the Night. So the image of like lighting fire in the night, it's a course that is here to support us during this time of world crisis. And the subtitle of the course is the subtitle of the course is Kindling Wisdom in a Time of Madness. And, next week we're going into this American election, and we're just living in this time of mad kings and just the karma of so many generations of mad kings like coming to roost. And so the course, Fire in the Night, it's 8 weeks, and we're going to meet together every week, and I'm going to teach a process called Shakti Rasayana, which is a kind of an energy healing that is really about every week we do it as a group. And then I'm going to give you a way you can do it for yourself every day, of just like clearing your energy field of all of the funkiness that we're going to be experiencing, no doubt, between now and New Year's. So the course goes all the way until New Year's. And then the thing I really want to encourage, especially the people here, to consider is, along with it, we have 10 spots for people to do this immersion level where we can work one-on-one for the duration of the course. And it's very, very affordable compared to what those fees usually are. And for those of you, many of you here have worked privately with me, but if you haven't, it's really deep. It's really deep support where we can look into what's going on with you and your flow. The course is all about flow instead of stagnation, being together instead of being isolated, and being in sensation instead of being numb. Those are the three main ideas of Fire in the Night. So that we just we look back on this season and we're like, okay, I stay rooted in my core values. I stayed rooted in my practice, and I was a fire. Each of you can be a fire in the night for everyone else around you too. So follow that link that's in there, or just look at my social media and you can see all of that.
And I'm really excited that you're doing this energy healing component, because I just feel like it's something that you've been doing for, I always feel like forever. I've known him for kind of a long time, so I just feel like every time I say anything, I'm like, you've been doing this forever, for lifetimes. Like, how long? How many times did you go to India? Like
I've been doing
1,000?
it since this was black. Let's just put it that way.
But anyway, but the energy healing piece is so like it's so strong, and it's such a transmission of our lineage. Like so many people know about Reiki energy healing, right? Of course, and I back in the day did a Reiki training, but I didn't connect with the lineage. I just didn't. Not that there's anything, bless Dr. Usui, and I just didn't have a connection. Just my soul, and so when I found out, about like the energy healing aspect of this lineage, it was just, really potent for me, and part of the work for sure that all the things I do, I feel like are really connected to that flow of energy healing, but also like igniting all of us into a deeper layer of our own self-healing through energy, because that's what all of it is.
In the Shakti Rasayana training within this, it's not just that. It's not just like healing with energy. It's healing your energy. Because like that's how I see that's the ailment that potentially, or that is what everybody's in right now. There's like an epidemic of like people's energy just being all fucked up right now. And so, and so that's what it's about. It's like healing the energy too. So whether you're just doing the course, which is like super affordable, it's like a no-brainer, or if you're doing the immersion level and we're actually doing sessions of the Shakti Rasayana together, it's just such a great value and such a valuable offering. Adriana is doing this training, this Dark Goddess Doula training that I just want to pitch also, that it's like, if you are in this work and that if you are trying to create a righteous livelihood as a way shower, as a healer, as somebody who's doing this Dark Goddess Doula work, because so many of you are, Adriana has figured out, I mean, I've seen her go from just being like, if I can say, kind of random yoga teacher / hairstylist,
Great hairstylist.
Great, amazing.
Random yoga teacher, but amazing hairstylist.
Yeah. But anyway, great yoga teacher. To go from that, where like she was like doing her day job and she had this passion. That's what I mean by the random yoga teacher. To creating incredibly abundant business, quote unquote, mission of serving people that like makes money for her and for our life, and that also helps so many people. So she's a master at this. And for anybody who does the Dark Goddess Doula training, you'll be automatically enrolled in Fire in the Night too, just like at least the basic level of it.
Yeah.
So that's just included. So it's not like you even have to choose between one or the other. We're just really wanting to like do what we can. If we had a restaurant, we would be like giving food. If we, had a hotel, we would be giving shelter. What we have is what our teachers have given us. So we're just trying to make that as available as possible during this time, because God only knows what it's going to be like. But we can't fucking freeze up. We can't stop. We can't just fold. We can't give in to dismay or despair.
Not for too long.
For a minute.
Yeah.
And then get up and dance.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. And I also just want to name that I'm going to be teaching in Yaya's incredible community. It's still, registration is still open, or it's closed, Yaya? It's still open. Okay, cool. We'll send that out with the replay too, because I was just, when Harshada was kind of talking about the Dark Goddess Doula, I was like, I did a session with Yaya like 10 years ago, no, 9 years ago. And I was like, how are you doing? Like, how do you have this community? And like, how are you doing that? And like, so stressful. And like, what do I do? And like, help, So it's cool. It's so cool. Like, and I love that I get to teach in your community. Yaya has this incredible, like, shamanism, herbalism, earth, like nonviolent communication, like all the things that we fucking need so bad right now. And learning deeply about plants, and being in relationship to them in these really like deep ways. So yeah, So I just had to name that as well. There's, so much beauty in all of it. So thank you. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you all soon. I'll see some of you tomorrow for dance. We're going to dance. It's the new moon tomorrow, I think, on Scorpio. So we'll be doing the underworld dance as we always do in Body Temple. It's kind of what we do. It's like go in and come back out, and go in and hopefully come back out, or show up in the underworld and come let some part of us out. It's always a journey. So that's, looking forward to dancing and moving our bodies tomorrow.
How do they find out about the Dark Goddess Doula?
B put a link. You can also go to the website. It's at the top, the banner. Yeah. Just deep blessings for this season. So much love. If you want to unmute,
happy
say bye.
Halloween. If you practice Halloween, have fun, get some mischief going.
Okay, bye.
Totally.
Thank you
Bye,
so much.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
so much.
You.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.
Mhm.
Gracias.
Thank you so much. Always. Much love.
Bye, y'all.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.